And we're back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another season of the Talking Fantasy Baseball podcast. We are so thrilled to be here with you once again as we chit-chat, debate, and deliberate our way through the fantasy season en route to fantasy glory. I'm your host, Eric Hendrickson, and with me along for the ride once again is my partner in crime, Josh Day. Josh, how you doing?
So excited to be here to talk fantasy baseball. There's so much going on. You looped me into a co-commissioner slow draft. Uh, what? So yeah, excited to be here to get in on it.
We are not only going up against each other this year, we are playing together this year for one team. Yeah, I looped you in to a slow draft, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later today in the show. But man, let me tell you, I am so excited to be co-managing with you, and I am super excited to be back here on the pod as well. If you can't notice, if you're watching us on YouTube, you see our made-for-radio faces. We've got some brand new stuff for you this season. We have a whole new format. We're going to be looser. We're going to have shorter shows for you. We're going to be more conversational if that's even possible, because we talked a lot of fantasy baseball last year. But we're going to be more conversational, and we're
Yeah.
going to be bringing baseball news to you through a fantasy lens. Kind of think of it like a fantasy news magazine, as Josh put it to me before the show. It's just like we're just going to talk fantasy baseball, man. Like,
Yeah,
that's who we are. That's what we do. So, as you can see, one of the big changes is the video, right? So, if you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms that you get your podcast, you didn't know what we look like. Now you do, and I'm so sorry about it. But we
Well,
are
maybe
going.
maybe they had a sense of what you looked like, Eric, because other news. You have another podcast
I do. I
started
do.
up.
I do. I am
Do you want to
part of
plug
the.
that?
I'll plug it. I am part of the Pitcherless Podcast Network now. I am the host of a show. I'm the host of a show called The Shallows, a pod designed specifically for shallow league managers, which is kind of the lens we took last year. But now we're
Yeah.
going to broaden that scope, and we're just going to kind of talk about anybody and anything that's relevant when it comes from baseball and how to apply it to fantasy. So I'm super excited about that other pod, but I'm even more excited to be here with you, one of my good friends, as we embark on season 2 of this show. And yeah, so other
Embark.
than what?
I said embark.
Yeah, we are embarking. Look, the other one is so
Gallows.
nautically themed. I've got
Yeah.
everything just ingrained in here. Pun not intended. We are going
I
to
get you.
set sail here, if you will, for season 2.
Captain.
On this week's show, we're going to be reading the news and giving you, how many stories do we have? 3, I
I think we have
believe.
3 stories today.
3 stories, perfect.
2 or
And
3.
then we're going to talk about general draft strategy, because, we got to apply this to fantasy. It's not just going to be all news. That's boring. We got to give you some fun stuff to listen to as well. And we're going to talk about that slow draft that Josh mentioned earlier, because that's going to
Yeah.
be a lot of fun, especially drafting together. And in fact, while we're recording this episode, we may have to make a pick, which is kind of exciting.
Well, it is a slow draft, so I don't know. It could
It is
be
slow.
minutes from now. It could be days from now. I don't know.
Well, I've got a bone to pick about slow drafts. If you have 2 hours to make your pick, do not pause the draft for anybody. Okay?
Yeah, what the hell?
You miss your pick, tough luck.
Too bad.
And so yesterday, not in the league that we're slow drafting in together. I'm actually slow drafting in a second league too. It is the PL staff league. And the first pick just didn't show up to the
What?
draft. Yeah, so the commissioner was being nice and paused it for him. Now, he had 2 hours to make his pick, right? The
Yeah.
commissioner paused it for 6 hours. The whole freaking
Crazy.
day.
2 hours to make a choice. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
always like freaking out when we do like our Yahoo drafts, and it's
yeah.
like I'm like buzzing like the day, like, well, leading up to it, but like the day of, I'm like buzzing. I'm like, looking at my clock, like from when I wake up in the morning to the draft. I'm like, there's like this countdown, mental countdown in my head. And I'm like logged in like an out, like immediately when Yahoo's like, the draft is live, I'm like in like 30 minutes or whatever, and in. And then it's like, there'll be like guys or girls that, it's like minutes before the draft starts. It's like they have like the little like
Yeah.
ghost or whatever, or like
Yeah.
auto draft. And it's like, wait, where have you been? Like,
We knew for a couple days that the draft was going to start at 8 a.m. Eastern time
right.
for this slow draft, and the guy didn't show up, made us wait 6 hours, and then still got auto drafted after that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's not like some weird thing happened. He took Otani, and it was like, what was the point of waiting this long?
I know. It's like,
Ugh.
oh, is he gonna mix it up and take Bobby Witt or
Nope, didn't even have his team like have a custom, draft order of preference or queue or anything like that. Anyway, we'll get back to the slow drafts in just a little bit. But just to let everybody know, again, more updated news here for season 2. We do release a new episode at the end of the week, whether that's Friday or Saturday. We're going to do our best to be consistent with it. My guess is it will come out most Saturdays on video and on audio podcasts. So be sure to, wow, tongue twister here. Be sure to subscribe. Love alliteration with all the S's. So you never miss an episode. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're available on more podcast platforms than ever before, including all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible. And again, YouTube with video. But also we got a bunch of new ones too, including Spreaker, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Castbox, and my personal favorite of the new one, iHeartRadio. It's really cool that we're on all these new platforms. So literally wherever you get your podcast, you can
Breaker?
find us. Yes.
Can't say enough good things about it.
Yes, Spreaker is awesome. They're going to be our new host as well. So a lot of improvements here for season 2. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating, a like, a thumbs up, and a kind review. It goes a long way in helping us out here as we I was going to say embark again, as we start our journey
Engage.
to season 2. We'll be right back with reading the news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Talking Fantasy Baseball podcast here. Josh Day alongside me, Eric Henriksen. You can see our beautiful faces on YouTube. Ain't that fantastic? If you're listening to us, you can hear our beautiful made-for-radio voices. We're just going to talk about the news. Basically, anything that caught our attention this week and give it to you within a fantasy lens. So first things first, let's talk pitchers. And you can't talk pitchers these days because everybody throws just too hard.
Yeah.
We're going to talk Hunter Greene, José Berrios, and Shane Bieber injuries. Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah, so Hunter Greene has bone chips and loose bodies in his elbow and will be out 14 to 16 weeks.
Oof.
Yikes.
Oof.
And I believe that's probably like around All-Star break or
Yeah,
a little
probably.
before.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does not just, I don't know about you, but anytime it's like, a pitcher has an issue with their throwing arm, or like just any sort of like shoulders, anything related, I'm very pessimistic.
Yeah, especially with Hunter Greene, who's like
Yeah.
perennially hurt with his throwing arm.
So to me, I'm kind of like this. I'm kind of slowly backing away from Hunter Greene as a draft possibility. I know everyone's like, oh my, he could be a great IL stash, and I'm like, can
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be back by the all star? Like, I just feel like the teams slow walk their pitchers, especially. And there's always like a ramp up, or there's setback, or this, and then and then they get activated, and then there's like the still ill, hangover that you have to deal with, and it's like never quite as like rosy as like you think. Like it's never quite as like a slam dunk as like, oh yeah, he's going to be a great IL stash, and he's gonna carry me into the postseason, the fantasy postseason, and I just don't really buy it. Like I feel like you have to temper your expectations. What I'm saying.
Most of those IL stashes last year were not helpful at
No,
all.
not at all.
Most of the pitching, none of them. They
None.
came back. They
Really.
weren't
I mean,
ready.
maybe DeGrom, but like
Yeah, but he was healthy to start the year, if I'm not
that's right.
mistaken,
Yeah,
right? But
I
like a
think
guy
so.
like Yuri Perez was good for just like a little bit.
Right.
Who else was big last year? Sandy was terrible.
Andy. Yeah.
Um, who else came off the IL? Kyle Bradish was decent enough, and then you get, into some lower level pitchers, but yeah, it doesn't really pay off, especially when it comes to the elbow, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of elbows, tell us about José Berrios.
Yeah, so José Berrios, Blue Jays manager John Schneider said José Berrios will visit Dr. Is it Meester? I don't know, but he has elbow inflammation, and that's not a good sign. I think whenever a player is recommended to see a doctor, it is a giant red flag.
Yeah. I think José Berrios is a giant red flag in himself anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyone was like all excited about drafting Barrios, but
Did he even have a rotation spot?
yeah, didn't he lose it?
Yeah, I
Is
thought,
that
yeah, he was
or
like,
like it was in jeopardy or
yeah, he was, from the depth charts that I saw, he was listed as their sixth starter. Now, maybe he was going to start the season in the rotation, and Savage, best baseball name out there,
oh yeah.
was going to maybe start in the pen to preserve his innings. I don't know, but I don't think anyone was really excited to draft José Berrios
Yeah, I
at
think
all.
right because they have actually they have well, we'll see because of our next story, but I was gonna say the Blue Jays actually have a pretty good depth, or they did, because they have Dylan Cease, Kevin Gossman, Shane Bieber.
We're gonna get to him in a
Oh,
second.
oh, oh, oh. They just signed re-signed Max Scherzer, Trey Savage, Cody Ponce, Eric Lauer, Jose
Ugh.
Barrios. We're getting into the
Yeah, the back end of that
leftovers.
rotation. Yeah, the back end of that rotation's a little
There's
questionable.
quite a big. Well, I think a lot of questions in that rotation.
A lot of health issues in that rotation.
Yeah,
A lot. I think they're counting on Cease and Gosman to give them a big workload. I wonder if they're going to spread them out, those two guys in the rotation, because otherwise, like, you can't count on Mad Max going, 150 plus innings at this point. Never know when that thumb is going to act up.
do you think they give Louis Varland a big
No, no, not in the rotation.
innings eater fireman role? And they might
Yeah,
have to.
they may have to, but he was so good for them as a reliever, like so good. I don't think they should mess with that. You could see he was not the best in the rotation in Minnesota. So I don't know if he has the stuff to last, but
Yeah, I mean,
you
ship
you
has
touch
sailed.
yeah, I think it has. But you touched on Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
This is not great for a guy who pitched, I don't know what, like 30 innings last year and
Oh,
came off
he
Tommy
was
John.
another guy that
Oh yeah,
came back, right?
injury stash. Yep.
Bieber.
He was
I
also
was a
just
stash of
okay.
mine,
Yeah.
and that didn't turn out so well.
Yeah. See, like, as much as you want to stash these guys, like, man, it's really tough when you're dealing with elbows, back injury, leg injury. Okay. But you coming for the arm, shoulder, elbow. No, I don't like it.
I think like for me, a big lesson learned last season was just pretty much fade all is coming back from Tommy John.
Yeah. And in fact,
Not,
I might be
it's going to take
buying
them a year, a season to kind of get back to, or like refine their form
those guys. I
if they
might buy
can.
this year. I might buy, like, Bradish is a guy I'm really high on this year.
Yep, sure.
I think he can be a
Yuri
very solid number
Perez,
two. Yuri,
right?
of course, Yuri.
Sign me up. I think he like what? Didn't he have like 8 strikeouts the other day? Like he had a really good performance this spring.
Yeah, he did. You actually have down here in the rundown. We weren't going to touch on it, but we can because it naturally came up in conversation. So
Hey,
Yuri passed fan 7 while allowing 2 runs in 3 innings. Look, the strikeouts being there is great because of points
great.
last year they were not. So good to see Yuri having success early. But Shane Bieber, just want to jump back to Toronto real quick. Shane
For
Bieber,
sure.
forearm tightness. again. Not great.
If-
I really
And
think it's
since
that
last
motion,
season,
man. I really think it's that, they come back here. Him and Giolito, right? They come back here and they throw from here. And that's
yeah,
how a catcher throws. If you're listening on any podcast, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be watching on YouTube. They kind of have this like short arm delivery where they come back like a catcher when the catcher throws to second base instead of kind of bringing the ball down and up. They're kind of
yeah,
just and they're not even coming straight back. Like some guys come straight back, and that's fine. You're eliminating the movement between the hip and horizontal in your arm, but you're stopping momentum. And especially when you come back straight back, man, I don't like it. I don't like how those guys throw. And notice both Giolito and Bieber had Tommy John,
yep.
and they've had significant drops in their velocity.
Good points.
Just saying.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Man, yes,
By the way,
Bieber forearm tightness, not great.
yeah, I think I'm staying away from the Blue Jays. Like maybe Trey Savage, depending on draft price, but I'm not really excited about any of the other guys, and certainly not Bieber now.
No, and they play in a really tough division too.
Yep.
And it's not like any of them are, except for possibly a Savage with his ceiling. I don't think any of them are huge fantasy difference makers at this point. A lot of people are picking Cody Ponce as a sleeper, but that's because he had a really good season in the, I think it was the KBO or in Japan, overseas. But we've seen
I
that story before, and they
I
just
don't really buy like I not to say that it can't come to fruition, but I kind of need to see it to come to fruition in order to buy in. Like I just these stories of like, oh, who was that? Isn't it Eric or no Fetty, right?
yeah, yep, Eric Fetty,
He won like the KBO's Cy Young or something, and
yep,
people were like saying he's changed, but then of course he came back and wasn't he was not a fantasy difference maker really.
not at all. In that
So
first season, I think that's when he was most useful. But since then, he's been like, don't touch Eric Fetty.
I mean,
Like,
I think yeah, like in real life perspective, like great, like they've done some success elsewhere, and maybe they'll have some success in the MLB again. But as a fantasy thing, I need to see it, and oftentimes I'm too late if it becomes a real thing. But yeah, I don't buy in on draft day based on preseason hype.
so that's the pitcher injuries that we had the news to talk about
Oh,
a
wait a
little
minute.
bit today.
What I wanted to get your
Oh,
thoughts on Garrett Cole.
oh,
Speaking of,
Garrett Cole. Okay, um, he might be the one guy that I would stash just because he is so good, right? And he's given his injury time. He's not just coming back like at the 12-month mark. He's going to miss the start of the season. I know he's going late in drafts. Look at Fantasy
Mhm.
Pros ADP. Uh, I would target Garrett Cole late. I know that goes against everything I said before, but he's so good. I think he's the exception to the rule.
But is there anything like are you keeping tabs on him in the as he's ramping up, or is there anything you want to see, or
Um, I mean, I want to see velocity. I want to make sure the velocity is
Velo?
back.
Yeah,
Um, and by all the reports, it is so far, but he hasn't. I don't think he's thrown. Maybe he's thrown live batting practice, and that was it. Which is, you know,
yeah.
I
He
wouldn't
threw
say everyone's at 100%.
2 innings as of March 6th. I mean, he threw
All
two
right,
innings during a simulated game,
that's
30
good.
pitches.
I love that. That's a good start. Again, like velo though, his pitch count will be built up, but
Yeah.
if he can't throw, 96, 97, he might be in trouble. Then again, he knows how to pitch too. He's not just a power pitcher anymore.
Yep.
So that's why I think Garrett Cole is the exception to the rule. Again, his
And the
talent level was starting like way up here. If you're listening, my hand is way above my head, and some of the other guys don't start from up there. So, yeah, I'm really excited actually about Cole to see what he can do coming back from the injury. Best draft price you're ever going to get him at, hands down.
True.
But moving on here, we have the Hamate guys. I'm just going to lump them all into the Hamates, the
Ham mates.
Hamates. couple of them returning from injury already. Corbin Carroll returned to the lineup on
I
Wednesday
know.
of this week as a DH. He used that like
Well,
hockey kind of stick bat
I don't know that.
handle.
I don't know
Yeah,
that. I know that the axe handle. Is that
that's it.
it?
That's it. Yep, that's it. The axe handle. So he used that uh, in his return to the lineup, played DH, and then
Yeah,
Francisco Lindor is returning next week. That's great news.
it's great.
I think they're both going to be ready for opening day. Now, whether the power is back right away, I don't know. But what do you think? I'm not changing my price on draft day for either one of those guys.
Well, as a Carroll owner in two of our leagues, or keeper league, I'm just excited. I was concerned, but now I don't really. I'm not. I don't really have any concern with Carroll. I mean, sure, maybe he'll have a slow start, but I'd rather have him as an active player than using him on the IL, and then I would like him to work out the kinks, I think, in April rather than him come back, like sometime in May and then work out the kinks, just because I feel like I'm getting even less time
Yeah.
with an elite player. So, yeah, I think it's great news. And I would say the same for Lindor. And also, these guys, maybe it'll take a little time for the power to come back, but they do more than just, um, you know, they're more than power hitters.
Yeah.
They steal bags. They can get they're different difference makers in their lineup. And two, I would say the Mets probably better lineup, but even so, like they're two different difference makers in their lineups. So yeah, great
Yeah.
that they're starting the season.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, they're both going to hit probably between Carroll on the lower end, 250, Lindor on the higher end,
Yeah.
275. But they're both going to steal you 30 plus bags. And that's the
Oh,
contribution that you're talking about right there. And their OPSs are going to be great too if you play in an OBP or an OPS league. So I don't think these injuries change their values at all. So that was the handmade news for those two guys. That's really good news for Corbin Carroll and Francisco Lindor. And now let's just touch on the WBC because this is a once every 3 years thing. What are your general thoughts on the tournament so far? We're headed into the quarterfinals now at this point.
I hate to say it because I'm on this news magazine podcast, but I don't really have like great opinions on the WBC. Like I'm not like I kind of feel like the MLB has not done a great job to like promote this in any way. Like especially coming off the Olympics, and I don't know, maybe it's good the Olympics kind of like took the excitement out of this, but like I was not like as a fan, like pretty big fan of baseball, like I was not like prepped for this. Like there's been like really little hype around this, and like kind of what it means or like why it's every 3 years. Um, and then like digging into it, like it's kind of like odd because it's like most of there's like Team USA, but then it's like most of the other teams are comprised of like people from the US
Yeah, like
or
Team Italian American.
yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, like and it's like, so I don't know, I think from just like a media perspective, I just think they've done a really bad job like making it palatable for like the baseball consumer. I think it's like, why are we doing that? Like what's the you know
Yeah. My biggest complaint about the WBC is I go on to check scores on any sports app that you can get on your phone, Yahoo, ESPN, Bleacher Report, whatever.
yeah.
Wherever you get your scores, Apple Sports, whatever. And I cannot find a WBC tab that
Yeah,
has the
no,
scores.
it's like, and then it's like, there's like these news stories that come out. It's like Aaron Judge not, leading. Yeah, I guess he's the leader of Team
He
USA,
is
and it's
he is
like
Team Captain
pe
America
pe
this time around.
people are crapping on him for not giving like, Braveheart-esque speeches, and it's like, well, who cares?
Right. He's leading a
This,
team of the best players in Major League Baseball, and I don't know how much leading you have to do when you've got guys like Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt and Bryce Harper and,
Yeah.
like Cal Raleigh. Like these guys are leaders on
Teams.
their own teams.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's great that it's happening, but I just have not been, like, I've not been really moved to care.
Yeah.
It kind of just seems like it's getting in the way of spring training.
I do appreciate the rules that they have though to protect pitchers, something like a 65 pitch limit or innings limit or
Yeah, that's
something
good.
where yeah.
I mean, can they even pitch that much? Because they don't, there's a ramp up in spring training anyway.
Yeah, you got at least for the guys who are in spring training. I think they're probably around like 60, 65 pitches max at this point, and it's like Scooble was he like showed up and then left. Like
Yeah. Peace.
cool. He's gonna get replaced on the roster.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So you have the best pitcher on the planet at the moment throwing, 60 pitchers and then piecing out. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think it'd be really cool. And I saw this somewhere on social media. It'd be really cool if they did the All-Star break, then the WBC.
Yes,
Put it
yeah,
right in the middle of the season. Like that would be awesome.
that would be great. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Everybody would be in top form at that point. Sure, some guys may have gotten hurt, but I just feel like the excitement level would just be so much more.
Yeah, it just feels like no one's really excited about this, and people are like, some other podcasts, people are just like confused as to like when it happens, and like they appreciate the rules are different. Sure, that's fun, but still, it's just like I feel MLB has just done a crap job, promoting this and like giving me a reason to get excited about it. Also, it's like I'm not going to get into media blackout restrict,
Oh
but
yeah, no, but
it's like how do I even watch this
yeah,
thing?
yeah. Uh,
Anyway,
just to put it in a fantasy lens, real quick, just to wrap it up. It doesn't really affect anybody.
no.
In fact, I think the game situations that these players are in is better for them than facing a single A pitcher. Even though some teams have double and triple A players on them, I just feel like it's not as
Well, I don't know.
easy,
There's like guys from Team Italy and
That's
France that you
Italian American. Those guys, like
you
Ron
never.
Marinaccio, came out in relief against the U.S. the other day, and I'm like, how is okay? He's a major league pitcher, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Wearing number 97 is a choice, but yeah, I just Vinny P had 3 homers. You got Jack Caglione on that team too. It's like you got 4 Yankees on Team USA or something. It's like
Vinny P moving up to round 2.
Yeah. I wish that there were more countries, like you obviously have the Latin American countries. Team Dominican Republic is like a video game roster. It really is. It's too bad they don't have much pitching. But I do think it's fun to see some of these lineups, and you've got cleanup hitters on some of these actually on Team USA. Really, you got cleanup hitters hitting 9th. It's like
right, yeah.
I think it's pretty fun to see that because when I play MLB The Show and I have a tanked roster, like I don't know who should hit 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then I end up having like Cal Raleigh hit 9th, which is pretty wild. So it's fun to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Olympics with the U.S. the hockey. The Olympic hockey with like Team USA and Team Canada. Those teams were just nuts.
Yeah, they really were. It was a lot of fun watching Team USA, both the men and the women, win the gold medal.
Yes,
kind of historic. 46 years to the day for men's hockey. Not a hockey podcast. Would be fun to talk about.
Anyway.
Maybe another time. We are going to wrap up the news segment right there. And we're going to move on, and we'll be right back with some loose draft strategy talk and more about this slow draft, where we might have to make a pick live on air. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Talking Fantasy Baseball podcast, first episode of season 2. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. We have video now. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast networks, we're literally on all of them now. We're back here talking draft strategy, and we're going to talk about the slow draft that Josh and I are in because some weird things are happening in that one. But first, let's just talk about general draft strategy this year, mainly because, one of the things that I did on the other podcast that I'm on is talk basically about every player between rounds 1 and 22.
Yeah.
And we did the position
Check it out,
previews.
folks.
Oh,
Good stuff.
yeah, thank you. It's a lot of players we talked about. And one thing I learned doing that was that second and third base are terrible. They are so bad. They are awful. Third base, a little less so than second base. But once you pass like the seventh second baseman in average ADP, you're in trouble. And once you pass like the ninth third baseman, you're in trouble. So if you play in deeper leagues that have corner infielders, like maybe fill that with first base, because third base is terrible. So knowing depth of positions, knowing pitchers get hurt literally all the time. We talked about that in the first half of the show.
Real thing.
Knowing second base is terrible, third base is terrible, catcher is super deep this year. First base is a good position again.
Yep.
Shortstop, there are 100 shortstops you could draft. What is your general overall draft strategy this year?
Yeah, so what I like to do as kind of the baseline of my draft strategy is I like to look at all the position tiers and then um, as you're talking about, look at which are the weakest positions and then prioritize um, drafting those positions for elite players because I don't like to punt, player. I don't like to punt positions because
No.
that immediately gives you a weakness. It is not good to punt. Like you can punt maybe a category. I also don't really like doing that, but some people that they're like, oh well, you can punt a position and build up elsewhere. I think that's just a recipe for having a weak team because if you have an elite player at a poor position, then you have a leg up on everyone else in your league. So yeah, I just like to I pour over position tierings. I check out other websites. I compare them against each other. I listen to podcasts, and I do my own. Based on my leagues, which happen to be mostly keeper. I'll look at my keepers, and then I will look at basically position tiers, and then I will target, you know, players at weak positions.
I took this specific strategy in one of the slow drafts, not the one that we are doing together, in this other one, that I kind of talked about already. I am so worried about the depth at some of these positions that depending on where you fall in the first round in redraft leagues, you can address that immediately and then not worry about it. And I think it really will help free up your ability to draft players that maybe will be so similar to guys that you can take early. Look, I know everybody loves Nick Kurtz. He did it for half a season, okay? And he was great. But like his projections relative to someone like Vinny Pasquantino are not that much different to where if it's between Nick Kurtz in round 2 or Jazz Chisholm and Ketel Marte, I might go with the second baseman because like you were saying, I'm going to get an elite player, the 1 or 2 at their position, and I'm going to have an advantage there. Whereas first base, the difference between like Nick Kurtz and the 8th or 9th first baseman, yes, there's a gap. I'm not saying that there's not a gap, but it's less of a gap than the, first or second and third baseman and the 9th, second and third baseman. I'm kind of like hedging my bet there. So what I did, because I had a pick in the middle of the first round, I was able to take Jose Ramirez, cover third base, elite talent, top 5 talent in fantasy, no doubt, right? The choice was really between him and Ronald Acuna. And look, Acuna has top player in fantasy upside, but J-Ram isn't far behind and he covers third base. And then I took Ketel Marte in the second round when it came back. And I had the choice between Kyle Schwarber, Nick Kurtz, Jackson Chourio, Jazz Chisholm. And
Is that a reach?
A little bit of a reach for Ketel Marte,
Is
but
he
I
going
knew
like third, fourth round?
yeah, he's going kind of like at the turn of the second and the third.
Okay.
Um, I didn't think he would make it back to me.
Yeah.
Uh, but also, again, like I wanted to make sure that I got that position, and I chose Marte over Jazz because now I have two guys that are going to hit 285 or better between J Ram and Marte. So, like, I got batting average pretty good 1-2. And I can find steals in round 3, but I've got second and third base locked up right away. And so that I think is a big part of my strategy this year is making sure that the weakest positions are filled
Yeah.
with the best talent early, and a long-winded explanation of that. Um,
Do you find yourself like if you were, I know you were drafting in the middle, but like if you had like free pick, would you reach for J Ram, say over Bobby Witt or, you know,
Good question.
the elite of the elite? Or do you just like,
Mm.
I'm not going to overthink this and get cute, and I'm just going to take Witt, Soto, Otani, Judge?
Yeah. Yes.
Although
That's
I think you and I were kind of faced with that
we were.
in our slow draft actually,
Yeah.
which is a
So
redraft too, so you don't have to, you
right.
don't
Yeah, but the draft that
more
you and I are
straightforward.
doing together, we have the second pick, and
Right.
so it very much speaks to what you were talking about. Is do you overthink it and fill position? No, I don't think you do. I think you just take the best
Yeah, I
player
just
available, and for us, it was like, okay, Otani, Judge, Bobby Witt. Of those
yep.
three, let's see who is available at number 2, and then we'll just decide between the other two. And I think because this is an OBP league, it was a no-brainer to take Aaron Judge second because Otani
Yeah.
went first. I actually think Judge should have gone first, and then we could have actually had a discussion between Otani and Bobby Witt at number 2. But with Judge still there, I think he's the clear number 1 player in fantasy, and I think that was a no-brainer. We just take Judge.
I think you're right. Like looking at our draft board, it looks like Gunnar Henderson just went.
Yeah, we are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks away.
I
It's
think we're gonna
entirely
get there.
possible that we make a pick. There's no timer on this slow draft right now, but there will be tomorrow where we'll have to actually be cognizant of the clock and watching it. But I believe it's a 2-hour clock. And as I was talking about earlier in the show,
Right.
if you have 2 hours, commissioner, don't stop the clock. Let that thing run. If somebody's not responsible enough to log in for 2
It's on
seconds,
them.
sometime in the 2 hours, it is 100% on them. This slow draft though is interesting, right? Because you have so much time to make your pick. You were talking earlier about how like you're locked in 30 minutes before the draft, and then when it starts, it's like an adrenaline rush nonstop.
Now
But
you're like,
this is
oh,
like totally different.
it could be bad. You could like overthink yourself. Although I guess having a co-commissioner, you can have like some checks in there.
Yeah, I
You
I
know?
I love the ability that we're gonna have, and I can't wait to talk about it this year. The league that we are managing together, to see if we can kick everyone's butt and see how that goes. But yeah, this slow draft thing, it's like, wow, it is totally different. I keep checking the clock, and it's like only 5 minutes have passed, and to me, it feels like an eternity. And in a normal
Yeah.
draft, I would be up again. It's so interesting. To do
Yeah.
this. But what are you looking forward to most in this draft? And by the way, like I said, we took Judge first, second overall. What are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, I think what I'm excited about this is that it's different. It's a different-ish format from our other leagues, which are both keeper leagues, and they're and another difference I think with this league is that it has more hitting positions. Like there's corner, right? But
Yeah,
it's
corner and middle,
yeah,
and
so
and
there's
two utility, I think.
yeah, so it's like a lot. It's a pretty deep league, so I think that'll be interesting to get into the weeds on that. And you know, as you were saying, it's like, well, what do we feel? You know, there's some weak positions. It's like, well, we're not going to be filling some of those spots with second basemen, and and third baseman. Um, Although I do think probably with our next pick, we should probably address, you know, second or third for sure.
Yeah. That's the
Probably
good thing about
second.
Jazz is that Jazz has both second and third eligibility. That is the good thing about Jazz. But this being an OBP league, we may lean Marte, or we'll just see who's available because maybe neither of them make it to us.
I
There
mean, do you
are,
think because we're coming up on like with our next pick, we'll have another quick pick in the third round, right?
yeah,
It's a snake.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I kind of wonder if we should address both those positions
It's not bad.
with, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially
Real time discussion here.
real time discussion here. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at Marte and Jazz as possible options to take. If Junior Caminero for some reason falls to us, we have to take him. Like it's
Oh,
not even a hesitation. We're taking Junior Caminero.
yeah.
um, but if he's gone, let's say he's not there when it's our turn to pick. What if? Because again, like there've been some weird things happen here. I'm opening up the draft board. Like Kyle Schwarber was taken. What is this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth. And Brian
Mhm.
Wu was taken. So
I'm shocked by that.
Corbin Carroll is still on the board. What if he's there when we pick here in the second round? Like he's by far would be the best player available.
Oh, I think we got to go third.
Third,
I,
still take Caminero instead of Carroll and
I
see if
think
Carroll
so.
drops.
I feel like we'll have, I think we'll be kicking ourselves trying to
Mm,
fill second and third later in the draft than we will filling an outfield.
okay.
I could be wrong about that, but
I
I
think you
feel
could
like
still get
I
away
feel
at
like I'm going
third.
to be more right on, on filling second and third early.
I think though we may be able to get away with missing on third base in the second or third round.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right
Um,
there.
just because
Oh,
Austin
that would be.
Riley's
Oh, yeah. Caminero, Carroll.
Caminero. Oh, that's the dream scenario. I think.
Oh wait, we gotta get that out. We were gonna jinx it. Clear the air, clear the ether. Don't jinx it.
Austin Riley might not be a bad target late at
That's
third base
true. I
if we
feel like
miss.
people are fading him this year.
I don't know why. It's you can fade players that
People
have
are
had
fading Atlanta in general, I
soft
think.
tissue injuries. Soft tissue injury, and we talked about this last year a number of times. Soft tissue injuries are fine to fade. I'm
Yeah,
never gonna fade a guy that like got hit with a pitch and broke a bone. Like that's just not his fault. Like that
yeah.
happens. Uh, so I really think if we miss on third base at this turn, possibly at the start of round 4. Well, I guess it's the end of round 4. We should consider Austin Riley. We'll see
I
what
agree.
happens. We'll see who's there. This is that could be in 3 weeks from now by the time we get to that
Yeah.
pick. Anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun to do this slow draft. I'm really looking forward to going through it. We are in the second round when we'll update you guys next week on how it's progressing.
Yeah, right.
Where we're at.
Be in
Watch,
round
we're only going to be
four.
in like round 7 next
Yeah,
year.
right.
I hope it'll be done because these are supposed to be the easy picks, and then the back end should take a long time. But I think that does it for our very first episode of the season. We're back, and we are better than ever. It was much looser, much less formulaic, a little more talking and shooting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, I'm very much looking forward to this new format, and I hope you're very much looking forward to watching us on YouTube and seeing, like I said, our made-for-radio faces. They're beautiful. We're gonna have some. We got like nice box around us and everything, designed by Josh. So I'm really excited for all the new things that we have going on this season. We are gonna bring back some segments here and there throughout, but mostly we'll have this new format going forward. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I cannot wait to talk fantasy baseball with you, Josh, all season long. So, like I said, speaking of being back, we will be back next week with a brand new episode. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If you want to ask us a question, leave a comment on the YouTube video. You have no way of emailing us, and that's okay. but leave a comment on the YouTube video. That's fine. You can write us a review, 5 stars, leave a question there. We'll answer it. That's not a problem either. So please subscribe, and you will never miss an episode. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. For Josh, I'm Erik saying, see you next time.
See ya. Good to be back.
Woo!